All right, guys, here we are, hole number 8. So let's see what we're looking at. In terms of wind, I'm a little worried once it gets up to higher winds. You know, I'm kind of trying to think of something ball-wise that we can even get away with something like this. Jewel ball, you obviously could. So we'll just have to see how this looks. Thinking something along the lines of this, through the hole, north end. Because and the reason why I'm saying this is because I'm a little worried this is going to wind up into, yeah, I mean, I'm in max club now. And there's no point of, you know, I'm just going to let time run out and we're going to think about this shot because I'm not sure with all winds. So let's just say, for instance, I have this same ball, but a power 4 option with the power 3. So a great ball for this, let me put it to you in perspective. A great ball to hit this shot is something along the lines of a 3-point. And I don't know what this is, but I'm thinking it might be an equivalent ball. No, this is a power 2 version. So this is a power 2 with the wind 5, which you should probably be okay. Now, the reason that you can do this is because you have to go much less rings. So my opponent here probably only has to go about 7. So there's 5. There's 7-ish, 7.5, 8, right at the max line. So you can see that you can keep this in the max range and, you know, you should be okay to make sure that that still hits that rough. Now, if he didn't curl that, he might have made it. I don't know. I'm not sure what, you know, made him curl that. If he's using somebody else's shot or something, like, because it's just it's a funny thing to do. It's not something that I would do. You know, I would just kind of intentionally put this ball guide out just a little bit and play the wind effect that way. Now, here it's only an 8.3 ring. 8.3 wind, but the same type of thing is going to apply. You know, we need to have this extra distance. I would imagine we're going to be up here towards the very end of the max scale here. It's the only way that I'm going to be able to get this is by, you know, right here. That's 11 some rings. Let's just see. Perfect ball. Let's see if we can get this with the perfect ball. Nope. So still not enough ring adjustment. So really going to be tough. And the biggest reason that it's so tough is because we're right at the max line on a kingmaker. Like we're at a power 3, we're right at the max. You see my opponent gets up to, you know, the max line as well. However, when you're playing a 5 or a 6 wind, you don't need to play quite as much of an exaggeration. You know, an extra 20%, for example, isn't multiple miles per, like multiple rings. It's more like a ring and a half or a ring. So it's much easier to only need to go 7 rings versus needing to change an 8 into 11, 11 and a half, 12. Like I almost have to play that 150%. I almost have to play that 12 rings to make that happen on an 8 wind to make my shot happen. Now, it's much easier when you're playing a 5 wind and only have to go up to 7, 7.5. You see, that's kind of one of those things where if you want to go for that shot, that's what you're going to have to consider. So I've essentially pulled that to the max line and still, it was still just a hair short. You could see it landed just a hair short by about a ring. So I needed to still go another ring on top of that. So the only way I could pull that off would be maybe something with a jewel ball or similar attribute. So if you want to go for that shot, you need to be thinking the jewel ball, but the version with the side spin, whichever one that was, season 11, season 10, or something along the lines of those attribute that has that same power 4, wind 4, power 4 with some side spin is a good option. Alternatively, you're going to need something with a power 3, wind resistance 4 or 5. And, you know, I highly recommend that. It's going to make it the most makeable if you're able to go for that shot. So good luck, and I'll see you guys on 9.